Hi everyone, this is Usha Pandit, your Mind Springs English teacher. Today I brought you a lesson that a lot of people have been asking me, and also where a lot of students and teachers, are confused with this particular one. Active to passive. You might say active to passive is not connected to transitive and intransitive. It is. So, if you are doing a grammar book where you are doing transitive verbs in 1 year, intransitive in another year, and active in 1 year, passive in another year, you will never understand it. Those need to be done together. Look at these books, Language with Ease from grade 1 to 7. When we do active and passive voice, we never let it go. It runs for 100, 200 days because it comes as daily sentences. So, that is the grammar syllabus that you need to follow in order to be absolutely 100% with your grammar. So, let us get back to active and passive. So, before you do active and passive, you need to do transitive and intransitive. Why? Because only transitive verbs can be put into the passive voice. Only transitive verbs can be put into the passive voice. So, what is a transitive verb? How do you know a verb is transitive? You know a verb is transitive because transitive verbs have objects. Okay? Transitive verbs have objects. What is an object, you might ask? An object is a noun. Object is a noun. Now, it can be a noun, it can be a noun phrase, it can be a noun clause, it can be a pronoun which stands in place of a noun, it can even be a gerund. All this whole noun family. If you have something like that, immediately after the verb, you ask the question what to the verb and you get this noun as your answer, it is a transitive verb. And those verbs can be put into the passive voice. Those sentences can be put into the passive voice. Now, when you say passive voice, what are we doing? Now, look at this sentence, Raj praised her. So, now I am wondering, is it a transitive verb, praised, you might ask. Praised who or praised what? Praised her. Praised her or praised her work, or praised her fabulous work. You can have a long phrase, you can have a long clause, but all of that comes as the noun. It is answering who or what put to the verb, and therefore, you can be sure it is a transitive verb. Transitive verbs can be changed into the passive. So, here you go. She was praised by Raj. See, we put it into the passive. What have we done? We have moved the subject and object places. They have transited. What is the meaning of transit? You know what a transit train is, don't you? Which takes you from one place to another. You transit. So, verbs that allow you to transit, verbs that allow the subject and the object to transit, to move places, only those verbs can be changed into passive voice. So, what have we done? We have changed it into the passive voice. She was praised by Raj. Passive, right? Intransitive verbs will not have that noun object. Simple, very simple. Will not have a noun object. What will it have? It can have many things. It can have complements or it can have adjuncts. Now, if you don't know what an adjunct is, I have done a video called SVOCA, S-V-O-C-A. Go and take a look at it. I have done it in detail. You may not need so much detail, but basically an adjunct can be something like an adjective. If you say I am tired, tired is not the past tense there. Tired is the adjective. You can say I was happy, I am happy, I am tired, right? Adjective. I ran quickly, adverb. Now instead of an adverb I can have a long adverbial clause, but it is still not a noun and therefore it is intransitive. Ran is intransitive and am is intransitive. These are intransitive verbs. See, you cannot transit the subject and object because it does not have an object, it does not have a noun to transit. I am a teacher is a complement because I and the teacher are one and the same person, aren't they? I am the teacher. The teacher is not an object. The teacher is me and therefore it is a complement. Why complement? Complement means it completes. If I come and say I am, you look at me and say you are not complete. I am a teacher completes the sense of I am and therefore a teacher there is a complement, it completes the sentence. So I hope you have understood transitive and intransitive thoroughly. Okay? Look for the object, look for the noun. Simple. If it is not transitive, it will be intransitive. There are only two kinds, so do not have to worry about it. Don't have to worry about all this, but it is good to know. Now I am going to share with you the formula for the passive. The passive voice works on a particular formula, and that is the object. When you put it into passive, the object has transited. I put that TR on top to tell you that that object there has transited. And what is this place? This is the place of the subject. But who has come into the place of the subject? The object. So the transited object will be sitting in the subject place, and then you will have the verb to be, any form of the verb to be. What are the forms of the verb to be? Is, was, will be, isn't it? These are the forms of the word being, been. All these are different ways in which we use the verb to be. You will always have something present. You will have an is or a was or a will be or a being or a been or something in the passive sentence. You cannot make a passive sentence without that to be. Something that people don't teach you properly. So that's one. The other one you will have after that is the past participle. The past participle, guys, is a constant. See, this is a past participle, killed, 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 killed. So the past participle of verbs is your V3 form, right? Or V2, what is it? I get confused. But past participle is where you know, if you want to find your past participle, you just have to put has. If I put has, I will get killed, has killed. If you ask me what is the past participle of the verb eat, I put has and I will say has eaten. Eaten is the past participle. I will just cut the has off afterwards. So just put has there and then try to say the verb and you will get the past participle. What is the past participle of the verb teach? Has taught. See? So taught is the past participle. I can get rid of the has afterwards. Has is a good way for me to find that past participle. So that past participle will always be there in the passive voice. And then you will have a by, and then you will have this subject that has been transferred or transited in the object place. So the subject and object change places. This is all you need to remember. Now you may put the by or you may not put the by. Sometimes you can just stop. If I say she was praised, full stop, perfectly okay. You don't have to know who praised her, because the most important person is she. We are talking about her and what happened to her. By whom is not really important. If you want to put it, but if you don't want to put it, there is no problem. She is important and what happened to her is important. This is the passive voice. The passive voice gives importance to what happened and to who it happened. It doesn't care who did it. Okay? So that's what it is. So you have understood the formula. The formula is very easy. If you when you work with your passive voice, don't just keep on changing it. Start thinking of where is to be, where is the past participle, have I got by, have I transited. Just ask these simple questions, and all of these we are doing only for statements in part 1. Look at part 2 for the more difficult part, which is we are going to do questions, we are going to do modals, we are going to do imperatives, so don't miss that second part. Then we come now, when that object transits to the subject place, that subject verb agreement applies. So if my object is singular, then in the passive voice I will have a singular agreement. If the object is plural, then it will have a plural agreement. So you have to be careful with the fourth part. Important part is that you have to, the third part is that you have to have a subject verb agreement, you should note. If you do all these things, you will have perfectly good sentences, active to passive. No matter what they give you, you will be able to change it into passive. Now let us look at the structure. So what I have done is I have put all the tenses here. So when I write simple, I am talking about the present, I am talking about the past, and I am talking about the future. Okay, all 3 tenses. Simple, similarly, your present, past and future here, present, past and future, present, past and future. So let us see how they change. So my subject is, I have taken a very simple sentence, the cat kills the rat. So the cat kills the rat is my present tense, killed the rat is past tense, will kill the rat is future tense, isn't it? So this is my active sentence. How do I know it's active? Kills, killed the rat. It's just one verb. It's not a past participle that is running there. There doesn't seem to be any to be verb in front of that. I can't say was kills, is kills, etc. It's not there. So I know. Is it a transitive verb? Kills what? The rat. Killed what? The rat. Oh, it's transitive. Excellent. And therefore, I know that this is an active sentence in the simple, present, past or future. I might have a continuous tense that goes is killing, was killing, will be killing. Present, past, present continuous, past continuous, future continuous, the rat. Present perfect tense, past perfect tense, future perfect is has killed, had killed and will have killed. Perfect tenses. You know one big complication that people have, they think this is the passive voice because there is the word, there is the past participle killed. Where is the to be? To be is missing. Do you see an is, was, being, been, will be? Are you seeing anything like that here? No. So it's active. Complication, I have just cleared it for you. Do not forget. And then finally, the perfect continuous tenses in the active is has, had, will have, been killing. So there you go. So these are your basic 12 tenses in English. Now let us see how they change into the passive. Now when they change into the passive, the cat and the rat will change place first. So you have your subject coming to the object place and the object coming to the subject place. So the rat now becomes a subject. And the verb will have an is, was or will be, like I told you, the verb to be that we talked about, and the past participle killed, and then you have by, and then you have the transit, subject that has transited to object place. So the rat is killed, the rat was killed, the rat will be killed by the cat. Passive. See, that formula sits beautifully. Now if you have a negative sentence, then that will be will become will not be. Is not, was not, will not be. Not will be not, will not be. Okay, remember this. Simple is over. Let's go to continuous. In the continuous tense, we will have is being killed. So what are we doing here? Again, they have transited the rat and the cat. Is your verb to be. Being is your continuous tense. You've got this ing, see. So I must have an ing here, otherwise where is my continuous tense? But the continuous tense is not sitting in my V1, it's not sitting in the main verb, it's sitting in the verb to be. And my main verb remains in the past participle. Past participle is of the main verb, never change it. It's always killed, 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 or taught, 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 or eaten, 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 it goes like that. This verb will keep changing to be, and it will take the tense of the active voice. So if the active voice is present continuous, this will be present continuous. Is being, was being, now we don't say will be being, so I have cancelled it out, it's a little clumsy. So continuous tenses in the passive are very rare, you hardly get any continuous tenses except the present continuous and past continuous, you don't get future continuous. When you come to your perfect tenses, your has, had, will have from your active will remain exactly like that. Here is your verb to be, been, it becomes the past participle, been. There you had killed, that has become been, and this is your past participle, killed. So has been killed, had been killed, will have been killed. And if there is a not, then will not have, has not been, had not been, negative sentence, statement. And then of course your transition. Happily, perfect tenses cannot be changed into the passive, because you will get something like the rat has been being killed. Nobody says the rat has been being killed. So these tenses you cannot change into the passive. So continuous tenses cannot be changed into the passive except present continuous and past continuous. What we are going to do now is we are going to look at some exercises for you to do so that you can practice it with me, and then I am going to put some exercises in the description box for you to do and tell me whether you got it right. We are going to identify the transitive, intransitive, and we are going to change it into active or into passive depending upon what has been given to you in the exercise. So let's see how we do that. So okay, let's look at some exercises now that we have done a bit of learning, so that we can clarify some bits that we might find difficult otherwise. I have given you fairly complicated sentences because I am going to do it with you. You are not likely to get such complicated sentences if you are in a lower class, but if you are writing a more competitive exam, you will get sentences like this or even worse. So pay attention, practice a lot, that's the best way, and ask me if you have any doubts. Okay. So the first one is the thief was taken away to jail. Now the first thing that we do whenever we have to do any active passive is to ask, is it transitive or intransitive? For that we have to pick out the verb, isn't it? So what is a verb in this sentence? The thief was taken. See, was taken. Now some of you probably already have understood what the voice is because we did the formula, but in case you don't know, you say was taken. Someone was taken. Someone was taken. The thief was taken. Now if you are taken, you have to be taken by somebody, right? Put a by after the verb. If you are in doubt, put a by. So I am going to put a by there. The thief was taken by the police, by the cops, by the judge, it can be anybody, by the jailer. So I can put a by. If it was an active sentence, I will not be able to put a by. So I know it's a passive sentence. See, that easy. Now let's do the formula and check whether we've got all this. Transiting, we don't know what the sentence was, so let's assume. But do we have to be? Yes, we've got was. Do we have a past participle? Yes, we have taken. And we can put a by and we can put an object there. Can we switch it back to the active? Then if I put by the police, then the police will and the thief will move. So the police, what is the verb here? What is the tense here? Past tense. What is the main verb? Taken. So what should the verb be? Took. It will be the past tense of this, because we don't need the to be in an active sentence, but this is holding the tense of the original. The original active sentence, tense is sitting in the to be. I hope this is why I am doing the exercise, so that you understand. To be holds the tense, not the past participle. Past participle is constant, as we saw, whether it is simple present or continuous or past or whatever, this will never change, but this is where the tense is being held. So you take this verb and you change it into that tense, simple, and it becomes active. So passive to active. A lot of times passive to active is harder than active to passive. So I hope this is very clear. Now this taken away to jail and all are extra information. You can just keep on adding the sentence, whatever is written in the rest of the sentence, you simply copy it down. Okay, great. I hope you got that. Now let's look at this. The building collapsed under the attack. So I've got collapsed there. I can see that it's the past tense. Can I see to be anywhere? I can't see. I can't see to be, see. So I know it's active. Now what happens is it a transitive verb or is it an intransitive verb? That is the big question. Can I change it into the passive? Now if I say collapsed what? Do I get under the bridge? Collapsed what? If I say collapse the bridge, yes, then I will get collapsed what? The bridge. But here I have got under the bridge. What is under the, under the attack, it's not under the bridge. Collapsed under the attack. So under the attack is a phrase. What kind of a phrase is it? It's a prepositional phrase. What did I tell you? Adjectives, adverbs, prepositional phrases, adjectival phrases, whatever else you have, they are called adjuncts and they are not objects. So you can't say collapsed what under the attack, it's nonsense, right? And therefore we know that this is intransitive and therefore it cannot be changed into the passive. Great, excellent. Let's look at another one with collapsed. The attack collapsed the building. Now what happens? Again we've got collapsed. Now I have to ask, is it transitive or intransitive? Collapsed what? The building. I am getting an object. So I know that it is a transitive verb. Now I have to switch places. So the building will go to the subject place and the attack will come this side. So the building and the attack is here. What happens to this verb? I need to be and I need a past participle. It will be collapsed only, right? If I say has collapsed, so I know I can take out the has and this is a past participle. It's a past tense also, it's a past participle also. So this I have got. What about this to be? What should I make it? What do you have here? Past tense. So what do I do here? Was. Suppose it had been the buildings, then it will be were. Suppose this must agree with this, okay? Has moved here, right? The building was collapsed by the attack. Suppose it had been buildings, the attack collapsed the buildings, then it would have been the buildings were collapsed by the attack. So it's, see, it's simple. Now the same verb, one is active, one is transitive and the other is intransitive. So don't look at the verb and say transitive, intransitive. See whether it has an object. Simple. The fourth one is the maid was cleaning the mirror. Now pause the video and try and do it yourself. So the verb here is was cleaning. We've got was and cleaning. Don't say to be, don't say to be. Where is the past participle? It is not there. It's an ing word. This is not the past. Your main verb must be in the past participle if you want it to be a passive sentence. Here you've got was cleaning. It's the past continuous tense. Active past continuous tense. Is it transitive or intransitive? Let's ask, was cleaning what? The mirror. Transitive verb. So we just have to switch these guys like this. So the mirror will come here and the maid, by the maid. Now see what happens to this was cleaning. We know that this has to be past participle. So what will it be? Has cleaned. Take out the has and you get cleaned. C-L-E-A-N-E-D. I've got my past participle. What do I do with this? To be. What is this? Main verb, what tense? ing word. So it will be the mirror was being cleaned by the maid, because it's a past continuous. The past continuous will come here. See, this verb tense will come here and this is your past participle. And by the maid, so it's perfectly alright. The last one, come on, do it. The car will have been washed. Will have been washed. Remember, this not is an adverb, okay? So never include not in a verb. Will have been washed yet. Now we are asking, oh my God, such a long big verb, what is it? I've made a video on how to read tenses. Go and take a look at it. Will have is future, been. Now, you've got will have there, but you've got to be. This is sitting there, to be, and this seems to be past participle. So let's put a by and check. Can we put a by? The car will not have been washed by the driver, by the servant, by the office boy. Can be anything. So I can put something there by. So this, therefore, this verb is a passive verb and I will be able to put it into the active. So we are going to change it and we are going to say the driver will not have washed the car as yet. The car. So that the car will come here, isn't it? The driver will not have washed the car yet. You know what we have done? We have just taken out this been for an active. You just take out the verb to be and it becomes active. So when you change from passive to active, just take out the to be and you will get the active voice. Just pay attention in the active voice to the verb that is contained in that. Is it past? Yes, it's past, then washed is correct. So you will get your active voice. So we've just changed, we've done a lot of work today. We've kind of looked at all the complications that are there. We've realized that you can't just look at the verb and say transitive, intransitive. You have to check whether there is an object. So all that I taught you in the earlier part, we've actually checked it out. Okay. Now I'm going to give you some sentences in the description box and I want you to do them and tell me how it went. Okay. They are easy, but if you don't practice, you'll forget what I told you. That's the sad part. Even if you do one sentence a day for the next 100 days, it will be permanent in your mind. Trust me. That's how we made these books, Language with Ease, one sentence a day, and kids have their grammar under their belt. Similarly, you will be able to do super stuff if you do one sentence a day. So till we meet again, guys, keep smiling.